Today I am going to start the fresh unit, that is unit second, that is a fresh microcontroller. So in this microcontrollers, I will discuss in detail what is the benefit of this microcontrollers. The chapter's name is called MSP430X5X microcontrollers. So MSP430X5X, this is a series of microcontrollers. Both X are presenting the numbers. Like the first X represents A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H like that. And after that, it is representing that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 like that. Okay. So this is a variety of MSP430X5X microcontrollers are available. In that, you have to study the general block diagrams, general features of this microcontrollers. So first you have to understand what is the meaning of MSP430X5 microcontroller. So MSP indicates that mixed signal processing. So what is the meaning of mixed signal processing? So mixed signal processing, it means that this microcontroller will support both types of signals, that is analog signals and digital signals. Till now, whatever microcontroller I have studied, in that only digital signals will be considered by the microcontrollers. But if you will provide analog signals to the MSP430X, it will be valid. This will work very fine. There is no problem in that. Okay. So first we will talk about that in this unit. What I have to study. The first I will discuss the MSP430X5X series block diagrams. What is the block diagram of that? And again I will discuss on-chip peripherals, analog or digital, whatever peripherals, which type of peripherals is available on this board, and the register set of MSP430X5X. Again after that I will discuss instruction set and instructions format. For every microcontroller, instructions formats are varying. Okay, so I will discuss that. After that I will discuss addressing modes of 16-bit microcontrollers. This MSP430 is of 16-bit microcontrollers. Remember that. That is a great advantage of that. So I will discuss the addressing modes, how the instructions will be transferred, and it is carried out by the CPU. And then I will discuss one example, simple embedded systems on MSP430 controller. How can you develop any system with the help of MSP430? Now memory mapped peripherals, like that in 8051 also you have studied memory mapped peripherals. Same way I have studied here also. Programming system registers. There are several registers are available in this, which is used in the programs. Okay, which is used to configure the MSP430. I will discuss that. Input output pin multiplexing. Some pins are used for as an input or an output, both. So how can you configure this as an input or this is an output? So you have to write the program for that. And discuss pull up and pull down registers. GPI control, general purpose input output control. If your input output ports are there, your input output pins are there, then you can able to control. How can you control this port? And the last I will discuss interrupts and interrupt programming. So what type of interrupts are available in this MSP430, and then how can you program it? If any interrupt occurs, how can you program that interrupts, that particular interrupts? Okay. So the first I will talking about the general descriptions about the MSP430X5X. Okay. So already I talked about that MSP430 having a 16-bit microcontrollers, and it is developed in 1990s. So you can say that in 1990s it is developed. It means that the latest microcontroller you can tell. And also it depends upon the this architectures is working upon von Neumann architectures. Von Neumann architectures. Okay, there are two types of architectures will support by the microcontrollers or microprocessor, that is called von Neumann or Harvard architectures. So this architecture is based upon von Neumann architectures. And also the main features of this MSP 430 is it is designed for low power applications. So low power applications. Till now, whatever you have microcontroller or microprocessor you have seen, all microcontrollers work as a 5-volt supply. Okay, but this microcontroller required 1.3 to 3.6 volt power supply. It means that this will work in a low power mode. So there are clock features are available in this. So you are going to supply the 5 volt, no problem in that. Here also you are going to supply the 5 volt, but the controller will not able to use that 5 volt. Rest of peripherals will use the all other voltage supply. So in this architectures, one you can tell that power management modules are available. So which power I have to supply to which components? Let us consider एक component है उसको हम 2 वोल्ट चाहिए, किसी को 3 वोल्ट चाहिए, किसी को 4 वोल्ट चाहिए, किसी को 5 वोल्ट चाहिए. Okay, so this module will be responsible to supply the voltages in all peripherals. And also it is a 16-bit microcontroller, so the address space and data bus, both of 16-bit. If address is 16-bit, so you can able to find that how much memory you can interface. So the maximum memory you can interface is 2 to the power 16. If you will calculate, you can get the 64 KB like that. So this is the maximum memory you can interface with this microcontroller. And also there are registers are available. So there are also 16 registers are available in this microcontroller. Okay, and all 16 register is of 16-bit. Till now I have seen that only 8-bit registers are available. If you want to use as 16-bit, you have to combine these two 8-bit registers. Okay, but in this case 16-bit registers are available, so you can use it. Now there are varieties of families are available. Okay, that like told you MSP 430 X5X, you can tell MS 430 X3X, X2X, okay, X5X, X4X, like that. So there are varieties are available in the memory. Now we will discuss block diagram of this. Okay. So now if I am discussing block diagram, you can see there are huge blocks are available in that. Okay. So there are several blocks. You can see each block one by one. What is the use of this block? So first you have to consider there are two types of buses are there. One is called address bus and one is called data bus. Memory address bus, memory data bus. Okay. So you can simply tell that address bus and data bus. So now each block, whatever blocks are available, both blocks are connected these two buses. Remember that, you can see like that. Whatever components, it's easy to remember. Whatever components are available, all components are connected with these two data bus, like address bus and data bus. Like you can see, flash memory is there. This is connected with these two. RAM is there. It is connected with these two buses. Power management module is there. This is connected with the two different buses. Bar stop timer are there. Okay. So every components, whatever components are available, all are connected with two buses, address bus and data bus. Okay. So now just you have to remember how many blocks are present in this block diagram. That's it. When you will able to do that, connections will be very easy. Okay. Now you can see what is the use of one by one, what is the use of these different blocks. Now first I will discuss the first one, unified clock system. Okay. In general, microcontroller, whatever you studied, in that microcontroller, only one clocks are available. But in this system, in this microcontroller, one clock system is available. This clock system produces three different types of clock. Okay, that three different types of clock is called A clock, SM clock, and M clock. So these different clocks is responsible for different peripherals. Like M clock, master clock is responsible for providing the clock only CPU. There is no other jobs for my master clock. नाउ पहले क्या होता था दूसरे केसेस में, दूसरे माइक्रोकंट्रोलर्स में, उसमें होता था क्या कि यू कैन एक ही क्लॉक है और उसी क्लॉक को हर जगह हम यूज कर रहे हैं, तो इट मे बी दैट क्लॉक मे बी इंटरप्टेड. जैसे मान लो एक सिस्टम है, उसमें 5 डिवाइसेस, 5 कंपोनेंट्स लगा हुआ, 5 पेरिफेरल डिवाइसेस लगा हुआ है. एक ही क्लॉक से अगर हम दे रहे हैं पांचों को, तो क्या होगा? अगर इफ यू प्रोवाइडिंग clocks to all the 5 components, what will happen? If you let us consider, if you switch off the clock, all the system will shut down in termed case. But in this microcontroller, there is a features with the help of, if you want to stop the CPU only, you can stop the M clock, rest of peripherals is working. Like that, this is a DMA, direct memory access. What is the use of DMA? I already discussed. The DMA is used for transferring the data from one device to another device or one location to another location. So whenever DMA is using, at that time there is no use of CPU. At that time the address bus and data bus will be used by the DMA controller. So DMA controller what will do? At that time the CPU will not work any, CPU will not do anything. So I will switch off the CPU at that time. So I will disable the M clock. So if I will disable the M clock, it means that A clock and SM clock will work. So DMA will work fine. There is no problem in that. So in this way, you can save that. You can save the power. Okay, that's why it is also called as this is very suitable microcontroller for low power condition. Okay. So there are several low power modes are also available in that. Low power mode 1, low power mode 0, low power mode 2, low power mode 3, like that. Okay, we will not discuss about that. It's a different part. It means that you have to understand, अगर 3 क्लॉक इसके पास है तो ठीक है, जिस क्लॉक की रिक्वायरमेंट है, जिस कंपोनेंट्स की रिक्वायरमेंट है, वही क्लॉक्स हम सप्लाई करेंगे. रेस्ट ऑफ क्लॉक्स विल बी स्विच ऑफ so that you can save the power. That's it. Okay. The next is CPU and working registers. So any task, any operation which is carried out by the CPU, and CPU has registers. I will discuss in the register sections. There are several registers are available. How it will work. So registers will be used by the CPU to save the intermediate data in that registers. Let us consider you are doing the job of 2 into 4. Okay, so some microcontrollers is doing like that, 2 plus 2 plus 2 4 times. So I want to result full 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 4 times. But when it will do 2 plus 2, that is 4, where this 4 will be? This 4 has been stored somewhere else. And then you can add 4 plus 2. Again 4 plus 2, 6. This 6 will be stored somewhere. Again 6 plus 2, 8. I need the result only 8. But intermediate operations 4, 6, like that, it will happen. So this data will be stored in the register itself. Okay. So now we'll go to the EEM. So EEM indicates that enhanced emulation mode. So what is the meaning of enhanced emulation mode? Actually, whenever you are going to write the programs, then you are also going to debug the code. So when you are going to debug, this block is responsible for debugging that code. कोई ना कोई तो होगा. जैसे मान लो हमारे पास कंपाइलर होता है. If you are writing a program in a C, compiler is there. Compiler is responsible for doing that. Okay. So here EEM is responsible for doing that. So it will use to debug the code. When I will discuss in the lab, in the experiment on FSD 430, I will show you how can you debug the programs. Okay. The next block is JTAG or SBW interface. So JTAG is called Joint Test Action Group. Joint Test Action Group. So what is the use of this block? Actually, it is used for testing the circuit board. Let us you design this microcontrollers, you fabricated this microcontroller, but if you are not going to test, there is no use of that. So for testing purpose, this interface is required. Okay, you have to put some connection with the software, and you are able to find that whatever you are fabricated, each block is working fine or not. Then after, this will come into the market. So this block is responsible for testing the circuit board. Okay, I will discuss in detail all the things, but just I will give you overview today. Okay, fine. So now come to the memory. So this is having flash memory and RAM. So now this flash memory having different sizes, 32 kilobyte, 64 kilobyte, 96 kilobyte, 120 kilobyte. So these 4 different varieties are there that will depend upon this variation. MSP 430 X5X, so MSP 430 F51, MSP 430 F52, like that. It also has a RAM. Different varieties of RAMs are available in a different series. So now the next block is power management module. So this power management module, what it will do? So I want to discuss powers to all the different sections. Let us consider you supplied 5 volt. Okay. So if you are supplying the 5 volt, so this 5 volt is not required for all the peripherals. Some peripherals it may require 2 volt. Some peripherals requires 4 volt. Okay. So this is responsible to provide the power to all the systems, and also it generates a supply voltage for the core logic. It means for the CPU. So there are 3 things in this within the power management module, that is called LDO, SPM or SPS, and brownout. So these 3 different circuits are available. So LDO is called low dropout voltage regulator. BOR is called brownout reset. That is also called a brownout protection circuit. And SPS is called supply voltage supervision and monitor. So combining these 3 elements, the power management module is developed. So I will discuss all the things in detail later stage. The next block is of patch-up timers. Port map control P4. Okay. So now you can see batch-up timer is also available in that. So what is the use of batch-up timers? Whenever system failure occurs, software failure occurs. In any system, if software failure occurs, the batch-up timer will restart the systems and it will try to fix the software problems. or software errors by resetting the system. And also port map control P port. So first I will discuss there are several GPI ports are available. That is called general purpose input output ports are available. So there are 4 ports: port A, port B, port C, and port D. So there are 4 different ports are available. Every ports have a 2 parts. That is called PA. Port A having P1 port 1 and port 2. Port B has port 3 and port 4. Port C has port 5, port 6. Port D has port 7 and port 8. Okay, so these different ports are available. With the help of these ports, you can able to connect any input or output devices. Okay, so now you can see every port, like port A has 2 into 8 input output ports. Port B has 2 into 8 input output ports. Port C has 2 into 8 input output ports. Port D has 1 into 8 input output ports and 1 into 3 input output ports. Okay, so what is the meaning? So these P1 and P1 port is and P2 port, both ports having of 8 bit. Port 3 and port 4 is also having a 8 bit. Port 5 and port 6 is also having for 8 bits. Now port 7 is having 8 bit, but port 8 is having only for 3 bits. So every port, like port A is having 16 bit, port B is having 16 bit, port C having 16 bit, and port D is having only 11 bits only. So this is the several features. With the help of that, you can supply any type of microcontrollers. Sorry, any type of input output devices. So now we will discuss the full output USB. Now it also has a USB port. Okay, so this USB port is used for the transferring the data or transferring the code into the microcontroller. So there are 2 options. One is you are going to dump the code in this microcontroller. Another feature is if you want to transfer the data from this microcontroller to somewhere else. Now, this is also combined with these 3 elements. That is called USB. I have to raise it so that you can able to see. USB PHY, USB LDO, and USB PLL. So there are different modes are there. So USB PHY is called USB physical interface. If you want to interface any physical devices, then you can connect with that. So USB low dropout, when you are using in the low power modes, you can use that. USB PLL, it is also for phase loop lock. Okay. So for USB, what is the use of PLL? In this case, the PLL is used for generating the clocks for USB devices. And also I discussed the DMA. So DMA is used for the data transfer between 2 devices or between 2 components without intervention of the CPU. So now we will come to the MPY32. So this is the multiplier. MPY32 is called hardware multiplier. So it also has hardware multiplier. Okay. Now there are different types of timers are available. That is called TA0, TA1, TA2, TB0. Okay, and RTC. So there are different timers are available. Now TA0 indicates timer A. It has 5 CC. 5 CC registers means 5 capture and compare registers. So timer A has 5 capture compare registers. Same way TA1. So timer A having 3 capture compare registers. So that is the difference between timer A 0 and timer A 1. In timer 0 having 5 capture compare registers. In timer 1 having 3 capture compare registers. It also has a timer A2. It also has 3 capture compare registers. It also has timer B0. That is a timer B, 7 capture compare registers. So it is a different capture compare registers available in the different timers. Depending on the application, you can use any timers, whatever you want. And the next is RTC. This is a real-time clock. So real-time clock is responsible for date and time. So if you are switching off the system also, then the time and you can say the time and date will be working fine. जैसे हम सिस्टम शट डाउन कर देते हैं, सिस्टम ऑन करते हैं तो टाइमिंग से ही बताता है, लेकिन at the time of switching the system, how the function will work, how the RTC will work. So for RTC, one separate battery is there. One small battery you can see on the motherboard. One battery is there that will provide the energy, provide the power to the RTC. So whenever you are switching from the system, but RTC is working always. RTC is acting always. So whenever you are switching off the mobile phones and putting the alarm on that, the alarm is working fine. So at that time, with the help of RTC, it will take the, with the help of battery, it will take the power to the RTC and the RTC is working fine. So हम सिस्टम को स्विच ऑफ करते हैं लेकिन RTC को स्विच ऑफ नहीं करते. This will work fine completely. Now CRC16, one block is there that is called CRC16. So CRC means cyclic redundancy check module. So what is the use of cyclic redundancy check module? Okay, so actually it provides signature for a given data sequence. Let us consider if you are transferring the any data, then how do you know that the data you send is reached full data or you can reach the partial data? Let us consider you are sending the 8-bit data. So how do you recognize that this 8-bit data will be reached to the destination? For that purpose, CRC16 modules will be used. So before that, signature will be used. Whenever you want to send the data, after the data, you can add a signature so that if this signature will reach to the destination, then you can understand whole data will be received by the receptors. Now you have a USCI module block. Okay, so USCI is called Universal Serial Communication Interface. So this is used for a synchronous communication or it is also used for a asynchronous communication. So this microcontroller supports both types of synchronous communication and asynchronous communication. Okay, so that is called USCI. It has two modules, USCI A and USCI B. One is used for asynchronous, one is used for synchronous. And now it is also had ADC, analog to digital converters. Okay. And it also has REF, reference module. REF is called reference module. So what is the use of this module? Actually, it is responsible for generating voltage required by all peripheral subsystems. The reference module is also responsible for providing, for generating the voltage. It means that, let us consider, I have supplied the power voltage with 5 volt. Some peripheral requires 2 volt. Then this with the help of this module, it will generate 2 volt and it will supply to the peripheral subsystems. So these are reference modules is also connected with the power management modules. And the last is comparator. It also have a comparator and it is a 12th channel comparator. So With the help of comparator, you can compare any type of data, either analog data or you can digital data. So you can see that in the top some pins are written. So this pins is X in, X out. These two pins are responsible for generating the clock. It means that with the help of X in and X out, you can interface the crystal oscillator with that, so that you are going to generate the clock system for this particular microcontroller. Now RST bar NMI, this is a reset and non-maskable interrupt. DBCC and DBSS. There are two types of voltage source are here. One is called digital, analog. So whenever I talked about the ADC MP3304 in unit 1, I also discussed the analog voltage and digital voltage. So here you can see this is a digital BCC, this is the digital ground. This is analog BCC and analog ground. So some components are required to take analog signal and some components are required to take a digital signal. So that's why both types of signals are available. Both types of sources are available. And also V core. This V core is responsible for providing the power management module so that it will distribute all the powers to the several ports or several peripherals. Now there are different ports. This is general input and output ports. Okay. So this DP and DM, PUR, these pins are responsible for using the USB. So when you are going to dump the code on the microcontrollers, you have to put the USB devices to the system and then you can able to dump the code. So whenever you are going to write the code for MSP 430, then you can use CCS software that is called Code Composer Studio. So with the help of Code Composer Studio, you are going to write a program and then you can debug that programs and you can see the result.